Okay, we're about 3 minutes past the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started. I just want to thank everyone for joining us. This is our spring 2025 pre-arrival webinar, where we're going to go over just some helpful information and tips to prepare for your arrival on campus. So my name is Jacob Harris. I'm the Director for International Student Services here on campus. I'm also going to introduce my colleague, Elvia Guadian. She is a DSO and has likely signed all of your I-20s. And she's a little under the weather today, so she will be monitoring the questions that you have in the comments. But I want to let my other colleagues go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Rocio Zuniga. I am the coordinator with International Student Services, so I work with Jacob.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Patricia Medina. I'm an assistant director of admission here, filling in for David Bernay, which I'm sure most of you know. So thank you for being here today.
All right, thanks, everyone. Okay, so I will be recording this presentation, so I'm going to send this out as a video for you to review after this session, likely tomorrow. And if you're not able to attend the full session, you'll be able to go back and review the information that we have. So today's agenda, we'll be talking about travel guidance, your arrival on the Hilltop, your home on the Hilltop, the immigration check-in and requirements for you, and then we'll have time to connect about some questions that you may have. And you are welcome to type any questions that you have in the chat, or at the end of the session, you're welcome to come off of mute and ask your questions live. So I want to start with this important slide about what you should carry with you to the airport, what to carry on you, and what not to pack. So basically, you want to have your original and printed signed Form I-20 if you're an F1 student, or your signed and printed and signed DS 2019 form if you're a J1 exchange student. You want to have that on your person in your travel on luggage. Of course, you also need your valid passport, your valid F1 or J1 visa, your admission letter from St. Edward's, any enrollment information. If you've already enrolled for classes, you can bring a printout of your course schedule, and then proof of financial support. So just like you showed to our office to receive your I-20 or your DS 2019, you want to carry those documents with you to present upon arrival in the U.S. Some other information after arriving on campus is you are welcome to go directly to your residence hall or your apartment to check in. There is a specific move-in day for international students, but there is also a phone number on each dorm and residence hall that you can call if you're arriving outside of the normal check-in hours. You also need to make sure that you've completed all your Hill Start tasks. You should already have access to those now. This is how you're signing up for orientation, choosing your housing, and things like that. And then finally, you want to submit your immigration documents to our office, to ISS, after you have arrived in the US, and I'll go over that requirement in detail. So travel guidance. So on the screen, you'll see the F1 and the J1 visa. So you should have this type of visa in your passport. Usually this is required for anyone entering the country, unless maybe you're coming from Canada. If you're a Canadian citizen, you usually don't have to apply for the visa. You just need that I-20 or DS 2019. So you would be applying for this at the U.S. Embassy or consulate in your home country. If you're unable to get an appointment before the start of classes, there is an option to check for expedited appointments. You have to first schedule the earliest available appointment and then reach out to that consulate or that embassy directly to learn how you can request an earlier expedited appointment. You also need to make sure that you've paid your I-901 SEVIS fee. The SEVIS fee is what you will have paid once you have received your I-20 or your DS 2019, and you can make that payment at fmjfee.com. And once you make that payment, be sure that you have printed that receipt with you, because you'll take that receipt with you when you apply for your visa if you haven't already done so. Some information about preparing for your visa interview. So it's really important to gather all the required documents. So you want to have that printed I-20 or DS 2019. You want to have your passport, those financial documents, your admission letter, if you've enrolled for classes, anything like that. Also, you want to have maybe some evidence or documentation showing proof of ties to your home country. So if you or your family own your home, land, a business, anything like that, just showing that you have an intention to return to your home country after completing your degree in the U.S. Will be beneficial for your visa application. You should also be prepared to answer questions about what you're studying, how you're going to support yourself financially, and your plans to return home after completing your degree program. And I want to highlight Education USA. They have a really great website, and they also have advising centers across the globe where you can visit there and do like a mock visa interview, and they can give you more resources to prepare for your F1 or J1 visa interview. So I do have their website listed there, and they have advising centers all over the globe, so you're hopefully be able to find one near you if you would like to take advantage of their services. Okay, so those travel documents, just want to highlight this again. You want to make sure you have your printed and signed I-20 and DS 2019. There's a section on there for you to sign as the student on page 1 of those documents, so make sure you've signed that. Of course, you want to have your valid passport. You want to have your valid F1 or J1 visa stamp, the proof of admission, your enrollment information, and then proof of financial support when you're traveling. Travel emergencies. If you experience any sort of travel emergency when you're arriving in the U.S., you are welcome to call our office during business hours, which is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. And that is our phone number that you see on the screen there. If you have a travel emergency outside of business hours, you may contact the University Police Department at 512-448-8444, and then they will contact an ISS staff member to let us know about the issue, and then we should be able to contact you directly. Also, if you're arriving late, please notify our office and also Residence Life about your housing so they know that you might be arriving to move in later than your scheduled move-in date. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Patricia.
Thank you, Jacob. So right now we're going to take a moment to talk about what it's going to look like when you come to the Hilltop for your arrival. The first part, most important, as you get settled in, it's very important that you get what's called your Hilltopper card set up, which is essentially your ID that's mobile, so it's going to be with your phone to get into your residence hall or even to some buildings after hours. So just like a safety precaution, we want to make sure that people who are supposed to be in buildings have access to them. So first, you're going to have to download the mobile credential on your phone. You have to have a photo within that. So you should get an email from the card office, which that email is right there, onecard@stedwards.edu. To submit that photo. But if not, you can always reach out to them and they can send you those next steps. As you arrive, you will get a temporary housing ID to just give you access into the building as you move in. But you'll only have that for a week. So make sure that you do have your mobile Hilltopper card set up so you can get into buildings here on our campus. Also want to briefly mention this neat app that we have. It's called Topper Safe app. It's a great way to stay in the know of what's happening on our campus. If there's ever an emergency nearby or on campus, it lets you know right away. So feel free to download that. Again, Topper Safety app. You can report anything. There's some support services on there, and also really important, you're able to upload any emergency information on your behalf. So just some good information to provide to the university, as well as to stay up to date with everything that's going on safety-wise. Some important reminders here, and be sure to submit your bacterial meningitis immunization record to our health services office. I believe that it's a task on your HillStart, but if not, feel free to just hit the link here on the presentation. You have to do this, or else you won't be able to register for classes. So it's an absolute must. Your move-in date's going to be January 9th. And so you also won't really be able to move in until you have that submitted and approved by our health services office. So please get that done, again, within your HillStart tasks. And you should also be receiving an email from housing to let you know for move-in instructions, the times, anything like that. So feel free to reach out to them if you haven't heard from them, or if not, they'll probably be in touch soon. Make sure that you also register for new student orientation. That's going to happen the next day on January 10th. So completing your HillStart tasks, that's where you'll be able to register for orientation. So you'll get a lot of great information at orientation. You'll get to meet some of the other students who are here for the spring semester start. So just a great way to kind of get to know the community before you officially start classes. About food, our dining halls will be open and on campus, but good to make sure that you have some snacks with you just in case if you arrive really late into the night. So be sure to kind of pack whatever you can. money, you will have opportunities to visit several banks nearby. Like we do have a Bank of America and a Wells Fargo not too far from campus. So if you want to set up an account with them, you can. We do also have an ATM on campus if you need to get cash to have that with you. And you will also have your meal plan is attached to that mobile credential ID that you have on your phone. So that's how you'll be able to pay for food in the dining hall or at the coffee shop. Again, just load it on your ID card, which is the mobile Hilltopper card. For cell phones, you can get a SIM card nearby. We've got several stores like AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile, just a short little drive or walk away, just an Uber ride. So you can get set up so you can kind of have that phone service while you're here with us on the Hilltop. For your dorms, if you're interested, I think Residence Life is partnered with Dormify still. So if you want to order some linens and pillows, the mattresses in our residence halls are a little bit different than just a normal twin. They're called Twin XL, so they're a little bit longer. So Dormify is really great if you kind of want to have that service delivered to your residence hall before you get here. If not, sometimes shipping can be a little tricky. We always recommend maybe heading over to the Target nearby or the Walmart nearby. Those are also great options to just get linens once you're here. And they have plenty of twin XLs, so that'll match up the mattress size in your room. Easy way to get around Austin, probably the best is going to be Uber or Lyft. We do also have several bus stops right outside of our campus, so easily transportation's pretty good here in Austin, so you'll have no troubles getting around. You can also download the CAP Metro app to kind of learn about the bus schedules and what that looks like. So we can reach out for more information about if you want to know. Again, as Jacob said, if you are arriving late, feel free to let us know. Also let Residence Life know, just so we know when to expect you and that you're safe and okay. We want to make sure that we get to see you, so feel free to let us know if you think you're running late.
All right, thank you, Patricia. So also when you arrive to your dorm or your apartment, you will have a welcome bag if you're living on campus. That's provided by our office. And in that welcome bag, you'll have some snacks, some bottled water, some brochures about important information, reminders about your check-in requirement. Then we also do put a SIM card in your welcome bag. It's a SIM card that you can use to gain a US phone number. And I believe you get about 30 days of free service if you sign up with the SIM card in your bag. But of course, you're welcome to use outside services as well, as Patricia mentioned, local Verizon, T-Mobile, things like that that are near campus, AT&T. We'll also want to highlight the Student Support Center kiosk. So we are located in Moody Hall. We're on the first floor, and there is a support kiosk there where you'll check in to see our office or to see maybe your academic success coach or any really services available to you here in Moody Hall. And of course, our office is here to support you in all needs, whether that be immigration or getting accustomed to the U.S., to living in the U.S. You'll also find an arrival brochure in your welcome bag that's going to give you some local restaurants, local banks, cell phone services, information about getting around Austin and things like that. Again, so for support, you are welcome to visit Moody Hall, and you'll check in at the kiosk, which is manned by student workers. A lot of times international student workers are working our kiosk. And in Moody Hall, you'll find our office, International Student Services. You'll also find career and professional development, the academic success coaches, the academic support programs, student disability services if you have any accommodations that you need while studying. And our camp office is also located here. You can use the kiosk to check in for an appointment. You can set up an appointment there. There's QR codes for you to scan if you want to set up an appointment that way. You can ask quick questions, and also you can pick up and drop off documents there as well. So additional support that we'll provide for you, you can find in My Hilltop. We have an International Student Services Task Center. In that task center, you'll find most of the request forms that you would need for our office, whether it be travel endorsements, making an appointment, requesting letters, things like that. Also, Rocio created this really great resource called the International Student Services Manual, which you'll see linked on the screen. You also will find this in my Hilltop and also linked on our website. This is a great resource for all things that you would need to know as an F1 or J1 student while studying here at St. Edward's University. How to get a Social Security number, taxes, employment eligibility, things like that. And of course, if you want to come see us, again, we are in Moody Hall on the first floor. We're in Suite 102. And then we do see walk-ins when we're available, but we'd like you to make an appointment whenever possible. And we can see you in person, over Zoom, over phone. We can do email communications as well, whatever works best for you. That's our general email address there, iss@stedwards.edu. Also, our website is listed there. Usually, if you just type in International Student Services, it should be the very first result that you get. And again, you can find availability for appointments on my Hilltop and the QR code at the kiosk. And then if you're having trouble finding any sort of links or information, just feel free to reach out to us by email and we can link you to the appropriate forms. Okay, so now some really important information about immigration. So I want to highlight SEVP, the Student Exchange Visitor Program. So this is the agency that is directly under the Department of Homeland Security that regulates the F1 student visas. So our office is accessing SEVIS to generate your I-20 documents, to make changes to your record, if you're changing addresses, you're changing majors, things like that. It is a dual partnership. So you, as the student, need to be aware of all the rules and requirements to maintain your F1 visa, and we are here to help you to do that. And we are here to help you, to support you, and send out those immigration reminders to you. So if we're reaching out to you, it's very likely something important related to your status. So be sure that you're reading all the emails coming from our office and to respond promptly. For our J1 students on the call, I want to highlight the Exchange Visitor Program. So this is the agency that's under the Department of State that regulates the J1 visa. Again, we're accessing SEVIS to generate your DS 2019, to keep your record up to date and everything. So again, as our J1 students who are attending for maybe 1 or even 2 semesters, we're here to help you to maintain your J1 status. So please feel free to reach out to our office with any questions that you have, and be sure to read any email communications that we're sending to you. Okay, so as I mentioned at the top of the presentation, there is an immigration check-in requirement that you need to do after arriving in the U.S. You can only do this after arriving because part of this process is providing your I-94 arrival record, and you will only have access to that after you've entered the country. So this is an online form that you're going to fill out. You'll be getting email notifications about this once you arrive. But basically, you fill out this form. You give us your U.S. address, your U.S. phone number, which you can obtain, with that SIM card that we provide for you, or you can use a local cell company to get a U.S. phone number. And then you're going to upload copies of your immigration documents. So scan of your F or your J visa, your most recent I-94 arrival record. Your I-94 can be downloaded from the Customs and Border Protection website, which I'll highlight on the next slide. And then you also want to make sure that after you've checked in with us, if you are, changing your address or your phone number, you want to report those changes to our office within 10 days of the change. Also, we do have a international freshman seminar course that we offer through the Moody Hall, and Rocio is the instructor for that, and so she'll be sending you some reminders as well in the class about your check-in requirement. So this is the course is really only required for first-time freshmen, but we'll be sending the reminder about checking in to all of the international students arriving for spring. So as I mentioned, the I-94 is your arrival and departure record. So this is what it kind of looks like. It's an electronic record that you obtain from the Customs and Border Protection website, which is cbp.gov. When you go to that website, you'll see a link that says Get I-94. You'll click on Get Most Recent I-94. It's going to ask you to enter your name, your birth date, and your passport information, so your passport number and your country of issuance. Then you should be able to generate your F or your J I-94, and when you generate it, you'll be able to verify that it says F1 or J1 there and that it has the correct arrival date. Also, it'll have an admit until date that says D/S, which stands for duration of status, which basically means as long as you're maintaining your I-20 or your DS 2019 and you're maintaining your visa status, you're allowed to remain in the U.S. until you complete your program or you complete your exchange semester. If you have any trouble obtaining this I-94 after you enter the country, feel free to reach out to our office, and we can assist you with obtaining that I-94. Or if you find any errors on your I-94, such as a misspelling of your name, or maybe they entered your visa status incorrectly, please notify us right away so we have time to help you to correct that, whether that be by email or with you visiting a deferred inspection office in the Austin area. Okay, really important enrollment information for F and J1 students. So in order to maintain your visa status, you do need to enroll full-time. So full-time enrollment for undergraduates is 12 credit hours each fall and spring semester. And out of those 12 credit hours, only 3 hours can be online. So that means you would have to have 9 hours that are either in person or hybrid. And then the additional 3 hours could be online if you choose. Of course, you're not required to have any online hours. You could have all in-person hours, but you do need to have the minimum 12 credit hours to maintain your status. For our graduate students, full-time enrollment for graduate students is 9 credit hours. So you would have to have at least 6 hours that are in person or hybrid, and then the additional 3 hours could be online if you choose. Another important thing to remember is you should not withdraw from classes without authorization from ISS first, because if you fall below the full-time enrollment requirement, unfortunately, that means you violated your F or your J visa status. So we typically have a registration hold on your record, so you're not able to drop courses without talking with our office first. But do understand that the professors at SEU do have the ability and the authority to drop you from their classes if you're not attending or if you're not submitting your assignments. So really important to go to class, really important to talk with your professors if you're missing any classes for any reason, if you're missing any assignments, to make sure that you're in good standing with them and they're not going to be withdrawing you from the class, which could negatively affect your F or J status. Also, you do not want to work off campus without authorization from our office. You are eligible as an F1 or a J1 student to work on campus part-time while you're studying. But if you're seeking off-campus work authorization, you do have to have authorization in advance to do that. And you have to meet a certain eligibility requirement, typically enrolled for at least 1 year for F1 students, or at least 1 semester for our J1 students. So important to always reach out to our office when you're considering any off-campus work so we can advise you on when you would be eligible and what the process looks like for that. And of course, if you're traveling outside of the US, it's a good idea to check in with our office to make sure you have a valid travel signature on your I-20 or your DS 2019 and make sure that all your immigration documents are still valid. And of course, if you are moving or changing your US phone number, again, please remember to update that with our office. A simple email will do. We also have a request form on my Hilltop that you can fill out. Okay, so taxes. So here in the US, there's the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. So as an F1 or J1 student who will be present in the country next year, you will be required to file taxes in the following year. So if you're arriving in 2025, you will file taxes for the 2025 year in 2026. So usually March or April is when those taxes are due. And you'll be getting emails not only from our office, but also from the university about your tax requirements. They might be emailing you saying, hey, we need you to fill out something called Glacier Tax Prep, letting them know, where you're coming from, if you're working on campus, if you're receiving any scholarships and things like that. And that will help to determine what sort of tax documents you need to submit. All right, travel during your program. So it is okay for you to travel in and out of the country in F1 or J1 status during the semester. Generally, we recommend that students are traveling, during school breaks. So, during summer, during spring break, the winter break, Thanksgiving break, usually when there's not classes in session. If you do need to travel when classes are in session, I highly recommend that you review the academic calendar to learn about, testing dates, important, information about what's happening on campus during that semester, and that you're communicating with your instructors if you're going to be missing any sort of courses or assignments during your travel during the semester. Hopefully, if you arrange that in advance, there wouldn't be any issues with being withdrawn from the class for absences that weren't approved in advance. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the session. So I would like to offer anyone, if you have questions, to go ahead and unmute yourself. You're welcome to ask your question live, or you are also welcome to type any questions that you have into the chat, and we'll be happy to answer those for you.
Good morning. I have a question.
Hi, Cecilia. Yeah, go ahead.
When is the deadline for the Hillstart assignments?
I would just recommend getting them done before you leave to come your way here to the Hilltop. So um, I know you've been working on them, Cecilia. So since you have to register for housing and orientation and submit your meningitis vaccine, ideally before you leave home to come to Austin would be the best time. Especially for the bacterial meningitis, because you want to make sure that our health and services office have time to approve it as you arrive.
Okay, I'm halfway through the process. That's why I'm asking. So there's no certain like deadline, right?
No,
Just
yeah, no certain
before
deadline, but as
arriving.
long as you do it before you get here. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about any of the tasks. I'm happy to chat through those with you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, any other questions?
Hello, just to make sure the move-in date is 9 January, right?
That's correct.
Okay, okay.
Yep. And you'll be able to sign up for that with your Hillstart tasks, choosing your living arrangements, and then you'll be able to, they'll be reaching out to you by email to confirm that on the times that you'll be able to move in on the 9th. All
And
right.
just a reminder that orientation is the next day, and you have to attend orientation because that's where you'll do all your classes and stuff. So make sure to go to orientation.
Yes, and I'll also mention for our F and J students, there will be a small breakout session during orientation on the 10th, where we'll pull all our F and J1 students together to go over the important immigration regulations that you need to know. Does anyone have any other questions? All right, I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat. As I mentioned, if you do have questions, you are welcome to reach out to me, to ISS, to Patricia, if you have anything that you think of later. And as I mentioned, we are recording this presentation, so I'll be sending out a video link tomorrow so you can review this information again. I'll also send out the slides so you can follow any of the hyperlinks that we provided as well. But we're super excited to have you on the Hilltop in the spring semester. We wish you a safe trip here. And if you have any questions between now and the start of classes, do not hesitate to reach out.
Bye, everyone. Thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.